Welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. We're here on Thursday at 6:34. We're a little bit tardy today.
A little bit tardy.
We're a little bit tardy today.
That's
I think
okay.
it's my fault because I couldn't figure out how to go Facebook Live.
Hey, pressing buttons. Not easy.
It's not easy. Not easy for a guy my age.
This technology stuff.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Derek, thank you for being here. We got the infamous Clay as our production man today.
All right,
Blake had to work his other job, so he couldn't be here today. Clay stepped in. He's my DD too. So
He's your DD?
He's my driver. He's my driver.
Excellent.
He's my driver. So we got an amazing show. We got
Great show tonight.
Assassinations.
Assassination. Love assassination.
Powerful families.
Powerful
and we
families.
got a lot of stuff to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. Sometimes the assassinations of the powerful families kind of connect, intersect.
Go together.
They do.
Kind of go together. That's the way the tangents hit.
That's right.
But before we get started, we have to say thank you to our sponsors. And we have a brand new sponsor.
Brand new sponsor tonight. We're really excited about this.
We have City Gates Distillery.
Yeah.
And in combination, because it's owned by both the same company, St. Augustine Distilleries.
Yes, indeed.
So they're going to provide us with some whiskeys and some different things tonight. Because we drank St. Augustine bourbon last week.
We did.
So we went with Bullet tonight. So we're going with Bullet bourbon.
Thank you,
Solid bourbon. Clay's
Solid
in there
choice.
drinking with us. So if the buttons get messed up, we know what I overserved my producer.
It happens.
It's all right.
But yeah, we are excited. We got the City Gates Distillery, St. Augustine Distillery. Really delighted they came on board. I was just in the City Gates Distillery the other day. The quality of their stuff. Okay, so the location, right downtown.
Oh, it's perfect.
Right by, it's called the City Gates Distillery because it's right by the City Gates.
Yeah.
I now have my perfect trifecta. City Gates, Pirate Museum, Meehan's.
It's all there.
Boom. Magic.
Repeat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you know, that's the beauty of our sponsors. St. Augustine Distillery, their bourbon is world-class bourbon.
It's phenomenal bourbon.
It's excellent bourbon. They do an amazing tour there.
Okay, the tour there is fantastic.
The best part is it ends with a tasting.
It does end with a tasting. How do you not like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's the hook. Because they get people, you see them walking out with those, and they have the really nice boxes.
They have great boxes.
You know, it makes you want to buy some just so you get that really cool box.
And it's in the coolest building.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
Yeah, the old ice plant.
The old ice plant. It's phenomenal. Guys, get out there and support these local businesses.
But
Incredible.
thank you, Will, Philip, Mike, for coming on board.
Guys.
We appreciate you being partners with us with this show. I told them what we do, and they're like, that fits right into what we want to be a part of.
Good people.
Really, really appreciate it. Other sponsors out there, you kind of already mentioned the St. Augustine Pirate Museum.
Mention the Pirate Museum. Look at this is the spot, guys. I can't tell you enough. You're looking for something to do on the weekend with the kids, that's where you take them. It is absolutely incredible. You'll never be disappointed. You could be in there for 2 to 3 hours without a shadow of a doubt. Every time I go in there, every time I bring my boys, we discover something new, something exciting. Like Pat Kresge did an incredible job. It's the detail, but it's also, you do feel like you could get lost in there, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely can get lost in there. And when I go there, I always ask, they do personal tours also, because they'll let you do your own walking thing if you want to do that, or you can get a personal tour. And I always ask if Captain Mayhem's there. If Captain Mayhem's there, it changes the entire experience.
He's the man.
It's just a great experience. You feel like you're back on the...
Hey, Bill Mayhem is a stone cold gent and a great asset to this town.
Yes. No, he's an amazing magician also.
Oh, so incredible magician.
Talented guy. All right, 900 Degree Pizza.
Incredible pizza.
It's right just past the high school there on Lewis Speedway.
Yeah.
And that strip area there, a lot of people, they constantly will ask, like, hey, where is and it's right there. It's right next to Vibe, and the sauce on this pizza is phenomenal.
The sauce got a little kick to it. If you're coming out of the high school, if you're picking up kids from the high school, if you're a high school kid coming out of there, pop in the 900 Degree Pizza. They make great pizza. Their pasta's incredible. The pizza's amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful people.
So good. All right, you already mentioned Meehan's also.
I did mention Meehan's.
Yeah.
I love Meehan's. Do you know one of the things?
Wait, I got to show you something.
Show me something.
In the back pocket. That's where I'm going today.
That's where you're going today. Woo!
My man Reggie.
So so Meehan's is a great bar. They have 3 great bars. They got Johnny's Oyster Bar upstairs. You got Outback with the Hubble.
Yeah.
You
The
got
backyard.
indoors, the backyard. But one of the things I love about Meehan's is they are so involved in our community. Mm-hmm. They do so many things. Every 5K, there's a Meehan's team. Everything that's going on in this town, Meehan's are involved. They're there. They contribute. They're just a bunch of people.
They do a great job at Night of Lights also.
They do a great job at Night of Lights.
They work hard year round over there.
Yeah, they really do.
Also working hard year round, Abare, Kresge and Associates.
How many
just
hours?
doing my taxes.
How many hours
just
do
doing
they
my taxes.
log doing your taxes?
I really hope they don't record it. I'm pretty sure they do because I get a bill. But I'm telling you right now.
You better hope they don't charge you by the hour because you'd be fucked.
There's not a better accounting firm in town. So if you're new to town or you're not comfortable with your present accountant, give these guys a call. They're honest guys. They'll tell you, straight up, hey, I can help you, or here, do it this way. And that's the beauty when you have an accountant. It's like, hey, I might not be the best person for you. Why don't you try them?
Yeah.
And that means they care about you and not their bank account.
Yeah, they have that personal touch, and it's quite wonderful. And somehow they are still your accountant.
Yeah.
Which, it's beyond me, but it says a lot about them.
Well, they do charity work.
They do charity work.
They do charity work. They do charity work because they are also the accountant for my Home Again charity.
That's right, they do charity work.
They do charity work.
It's official.
All right, the Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab. Right now I got an announcement to make. Gypsy Cab is closed this week, but the Beacon is serving Gypsy Cab's menu.
Nice.
So if you're craving it, I got it last week.
If you're craving the chicken,
Gypsy chicken, you can get it this week at the Beacon. The Beacon's open at lunchtime this week, while Gypsy Cabs, they're expanding and redoing their kitchen.
That's right. Yeah.
Because that kitchen is so small.
That is a small kitchen.
The Beacon's kitchen's actually bigger than Gypsy Cabs.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's they're doing Sing Out Loud showcase at the Beacon all weekend long.
Yeah.
I think there's a comedy night. Is it comedy night?
Yeah, it's comedy night Saturday. But we have shifted from Sing Out Loud to
Songwriters Festival.
Songwriters.
That's right.
So, yeah, because there's great music in town. So and download that app. If you want something to do this weekend, go to St. Augustine Songwriters app. Download that app and you can set up your own schedule.
Yeah, you can.
So it gives you alerts like, hey, Davis is going to be at...
Yeah, Davis Luce, yeah.
He's in town. He's going to be here. Mac McAnally from...
That's right.
From... Drawing a blank, Margaritaville guy. Buffett, Jimmy Buffett's band is in town. He's playing there Saturday night. So it should be a great...
Should be a great night.
We got to get to the show.
We do got to get to the show. Come on.
Get to the show. All right. Word of origins. It's funny. You and I came in. We had the same word origin.
We had the same one.
Which was?
Which was hands down. Hands down.
So, and sometimes we come up with the same one, but we have different definitions of it.
This time we had the same definition.
Same definition.
Same everything.
So hands down means... you're
a jockey.
The best ever, hands down. But it came from jockeys.
It came from jockeys, right? It's a 19th century term. It comes from jockeys. When the jockey would loosen their grip, the horse is winning by a mile. They got a big lead. It's an easy and decisive victory. Not much effort. Hands down.
Yeah, hands down. So it's just like it's an easy victory. And I say it about meals. Oh, that's the best chicken I've ever had.
Hands down.
Hands down the best chicken and that's a term I still use.
Yeah. So, I do too.
All right. So the one I got is, the next one I have is Through the Grapevine.
Okay. Heard it through the grapevine.
Heard it through the grapevine. It was, a famous song and everything else. Yeah. But I was like, okay, I wonder where this originally came from. Do you have any idea?
I have absolutely no idea.
The Telegraph.
The Telegraph. Okay.
Because it would go here and there, and it would just go through the grapevine, and sometimes it would be...
That's where it comes from.
Yeah. So sometimes the grapevine misses just a little bit, but you heard it through the grapevine, and it came from the Telegraph. And I thought it was just a gossip chain or something like that. And I was expecting it to be something more political, but it was super simple.
Right, somebody just...
But I didn't make that connection until I read it.
Until you read it. Wow. Heard it through the grapevine. There you go.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye? Was it Marvin Gaye?
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah. All right, so the other one I got Sight for Sore Eyes. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You are a sight for sore eyes.
I am a sight for sore eyes.
Every Thursday when you show up, I was like, he's a sight for sore eyes. Because the show would not be the same without you, sir.
Sight for sore eyes, when you're very pleased or very relieved to see someone. Mm-hmm. And rarely has that term been applied to me. So thank you very much.
I'm relieved to see you.
So this term comes from, it's 1738. Jonathan Swift, the guy who wrote Gulliver's Travels, A Modest Proposal, he coined it in an essay talking about someone he was delighted to see. Yeah, sight for sore eyes.
So it was never used until Gulliver's Travel?
There's some rumors that it was used before that, but the first time it was written down was in an essay that Jonathan Swift wrote in 1738. So he gets credit for coining it because it's written down.
Do you know the name that came out of Peter Pan that was never written down prior to it?
No, I don't.
Wendy.
Oh, maybe I did know that. Yeah.
Wendy was never written down before Peter Pan.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm sure there was other people called Wendy.
Yeah.
And obviously we have a hamburgers
we do
franchise now named Wendy.
Yeah.
But Wendy was never used in any written form before Peter Pan.
Speaking of Wendy's as the hamburger franchise, can I just do a little tangent real quick?
Oh, yeah, go.
So where O.C. White's is right now, that used to be a Wendy's.
It was a Wendy's when I was in college.
It was a Wendy's when I first got here.
Yeah, it was a Wendy's when I was in college. Yeah. There used to be a Pizza Hut on the corner of St. George Street and King Street.
There did.
So there was a Pizza
Hut right there in the Lion Building.
Yeah, in the Lion Building. It was right on the corner.
Right on the corner.
There was a Pizza Hut there.
I walked out of that place twice in kind of back-to-back weekends because the service was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I both times dined in, ate my pizza, didn't even have to dash, just casually walked out the door and left. Right then and there.
Yeah.
So
Irish exit.
There you
go.
Yeah.
All right. The other one is where the Chiba Hut was a Burger King.
That's right. Yeah, you told me that before. Chiba Hut was a Burger King.
All right. Last word origin we have.
Okay.
All right. Your name is Mud.
Your name is Mud.
It means your name. Yeah. So and I thought it came from just dragging someone through the mud.
Oh, it does not, sir.
It's not. It has nothing to do with that. And Clay, you still alive back there?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Okay, I saw him kind of nodding off a little bit. So
I'm just chilling.
He's got a bourbon, so I don't want him to nod off.
Yeah.
All right. So your name is Mud is actually a term that came out of an assassination.
It came out of Lincoln's assassination.
That's
yes,
right.
It did.
The doctor who took care of John Wilkes Booth's leg, his name was Mudd.
He was Dr. Samuel Mudd.
Dr. Samuel Mudd. And Dr. Samuel Mudd was sent to Florida to be in prison. He was
sent to the Dry Tortugas.
Dry Tortugas.
He's at Fort Jefferson.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was at the Dry Tortugas, and yellow fever popped up, and he basically saved...
he saved most of the place, yeah.
He saved everybody in the Dry Tortugas. And the whole time, they were trying to connect Mudd, but they never really had a chain to... because a lot of, we'll transition straight to the assassination.
We will. So I've been to the Dry Tortugas. I've stood in his cell, and I've been to his house several times. His house is in Charles County, Maryland, Southern Maryland, and it's about 3 miles from where my wife grew up. Oh, okay. So we've been there a bunch of times.
Yeah. It's a little further from Ford Theater.
It is a long way from the Ford Theater. But you know what? In those days, today, if there was no traffic, you could get from where Julie's parents lived to downtown DC in probably 30 minutes if there was no traffic.
Yeah.
So on a horse back in those days, not that bad.
It'd probably be a 2 hour ride. Yeah. Be a 2 hour ride. But I mean, but Mudd took care of John Wilkes Booth.
Supposedly he did, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he definitely
and
did.
Then he helped him cross over the...
He definitely helped him with his leg.
The Potomac, right? He helped him cross the Potomac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they couldn't connect whether or not he was 100% a part of the entire conspiracy.
Right. A lot of people, or he just happened to be a doctor who was there.
Who was trying to keep his, hypocritical
Hippocratic oath, yeah.
So, all right. So let's go straight to Lincoln's assassination.
Lincoln's assassination.
Because we're talking assassinations, and it's considered the second most important assassination
in the history of the world.
In the history of the world.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. All right. So Lincoln's assassination, the irony of the whole thing is, people don't understand that it wasn't just Lincoln they were trying to kill.
They were trying to kill a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. So, so
we're talking April 1865.
65.
Ford Theater.
We talked about the Sultana,
which was also April 1865.
No one knowing what happened, and it's because of this event, the assassination of Lincoln. Yeah. No one knew what happened on the Mississippi.
That's right.
But do you know who the guest was that was supposed to go with Lincoln to the theater?
Was it Seward? Was Seward supposed to go?
No, Seward.
They were supposed to kill Seward that night.
Seward got stabbed several times and never 100% recovered from that because he was Secretary of the State at the time for Lincoln. Okay. But the guest that was supposed to be there was Grant, Ulysses S. Grant. So he was supposed to be there, but Ulysses S. Grant's wife.
Oh, that's right. Mary Todd.
Mary Todd, because Mary Todd was more than likely schizophrenic.
She was a bitch.
She was more than likely schizophrenic, and like it got worse when their son passed.
That's right.
And she never really forgave Abe for the son passing. But so Grant never really forgave himself
for not being there.
Because he thought he could have stopped John Wilkes Booth from doing that.
So one of the things I love about this is nobody stopped John Wilkes Booth because he was an actor.
He was an actor. He was familiar in Ford Theater,
and he had a post office box in the Ford Theater. He got his mail delivered to the Ford Theater.
Yeah.
So John Wilkes Booth being in the Ford Theater and walking around backstage was a completely normal sight for people.
Yeah.
Because he was there all the damn time. Yeah, picking up his mail, people go, "Hey, man."
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Yeah. So that wasn't, like you said, that was not the only assassination that was supposed to take place that day. Andrew Johnson, who was vice president, the person who was supposed to murder him, chickened out.
Oh, wow.
So he never was attacked. We talked about Seward, the Secretary of State, which would have been third in line at that time. That was the secession at that time. It's no longer that. Now it's a House Speaker of the House. Yeah. But Seward was third in line, and he got stabbed. There was about 14 people that were involved in this conspiracy.
Yeah.
I think they ended up hanging 6 of them.
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah. And it was the first time a woman was hung.
In the United States. That's right. Yeah, again, there's so many different things, but like John Wilkes Booth as an actor, and his brother, God, I'm blanking on his name right now, but his brother was an even more famous Shakespearean actor. And of course, his brother's career suffered afterwards.
Yeah, I could see that hurting. I could see that hurting the career a little bit.
And it does, my favorite joke, one of those things, when people are talking about everything's gone to hell and things aren't good, I go, well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play?
Well, yeah. Have you seen the Yelp review?
No.
1 star, Ford Theater, 1 star, would not recommend. You haven't seen that shirt
no.
yet? Yeah, it's a shirt. It's like, it says Ford's Theater, 1 star, and it's got a picture of Abe there. Would not recommend.
Would not recommend.
Yeah.
What was the name of the play?
My American Cousin.
Our American Cousin. Yeah, Our American Cousin.
So
he shot Lincoln. Lincoln was up in the booth in a kind of overlook, like a booth overlooking the stage, and then John Wilkes Booth was a really good athlete. And he shot Lincoln and then jumped off the balcony.
Yes.
And broke his ankle landing on the stage because he got his foot caught as he was jumping off the balcony.
Yeah, he didn't land when he was trying to clear the rail.
Yeah.
He hung up and that's when he hit wrong.
And he said, "Sic semper tyrannis."
Yeah.
Right? "Thus it is always for tyrants."
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. And then somehow made it down to Southern Maryland to see Dr. Mudd.
At one point, they said that the security that was at the back door wasn't there. Like somehow they got persuaded to go away from it or something like that.
But they let him in.
They let him in. And actually, at one point, They even someplace where I read that John Wilkes Booth handed the reins to his horse to the security guard to tie off his horse.
That's right, to hold the... he did.
To hold the horse.
Because they all knew him.
He was that casual.
Yeah, and he was an actor, and they all knew him.
It was that casual. It's like, oh, so...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Crazy. And, of course, like that...
Have you ever been to Ford's Theater?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a big place.
It's not a big place at all, and it's very, very close to the White House. It's It's a nice little theater, but... Again, just thinking about getting from there down to Southern Maryland and then continuing on, like it must have been a harrowing journey.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he didn't get caught for like 2 weeks.
It was was it? That I don't know.
I think it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he was just one of those people. Like Booth just felt like they were worried about the black people taking over.
Well, I mean, the irony of the connections between Kennedy and Lincoln are crazy. Like Lincoln had a cabinet member named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a cabinet member named Lincoln. All right, John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and got caught in a book warehouse or something like that.
Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy from the book depository
and got caught in a theater.
That's right. They both have 3 names.
Yes,
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Well, most bad
John
people
Wilkes Booth.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple more of those. Yeah. I remember there was something else about
code.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's probably the most. It's like I said, it's the second most famous assassination in the world.
So then,
but it's the most famous in the U.S.
Oh, for sure. And then of course Andrew Johnson becomes president.
Yes,
he's the first president to be impeached.
Yes, he was not a good president.
Not a good president at all. But of course, in those days, like they didn't give a rat's ass about who was vice president.
Yeah, it was nothing. It wasn't important. As a matter of fact, they had to go. Okay.
Yeah, who?
He's the guy. And I'll tell you this. And I couldn't remember if they actually held an election in '64. Because they did.
Yeah.
They held an election. Lincoln won very, very easily.
Never paid his bill.
That was the first. That was the first inauguration. That was the first inauguration. His first inauguration, he stayed at the Willard.
Yeah,
he ran up a bill of like $16,000 and didn't pay his bill. Way to go, Honest Abe. Way to go, Honest Abe. Johnson became president, and then Grant had to come back in and save the country again.
That's right. Yeah.
So probably one of the most underrated.
Ulysses S. Grant. Yeah, I think
Americans.
So. Yeah, because he had.
Do you know his real first name?
Not Ulysses?
No.
Okay, what is it?
Hiram.
Hiram.
When he got to West Point, they messed up at the register. He wasn't a great student. All right?
Yeah.
So Ulysses Simpson Grant. Simpson's his mom's maiden name.
Okay.
Ulysses was his middle name. So his name was actually Hiram Ulysses Grant.
Okay.
But when they wrote it down on the register, he became Ulysses Simpson Grant. And he never corrected him.
Wow.
So he went by U.S.
And he was
Grant.
Hiram Ulysses.
His name was actually Hiram Ulysses Grant.
Hug.
So, hug.
Yeah.
So warm.
I've read that he supposedly, for all the, underrated Americans, supposedly the lowest IQ of any U.S. president.
Yeah. No. But his morality is one of the highest.
Oh, yeah.
Because the day he got married, he was bequeathed.
That's right.
A slave.
We talked about this.
And the next day he went down and signed the freedom. Yeah. And he was broke at the time. He could have used the money. It would have been that slave would have probably been worth close to $700, which is
a lot of money.
That was a salary for a year.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, maybe 2. And he signed him over his freedom because the woman he married, their family had slaves.
Wow. Okay, so this is the second most important assassination in the world.
Yeah.
The number one assassination in the world.
Yeah.
Which I think we talked about the first time we talked about doing the show.
Yeah, we talked about doing the show. We're like, this one's one we're going to do. We're going to talk about at some point.
So what is it? Number one most important assassination.
It happened in a Duesenberg. Ferdinand.
It happened in a Duesenberg.
Archduke Ferdinand.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah.
The Crown Prince of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. June 28th, 1914. Yeah. In a little town called Sarajevo.
Yeah.
In Serbia. And do you remember the name of the guy who shot him?
I read it today and I can't remember what it was. It was a Serbian, right?
It was a Serbian nationalist. It was a fellow called Gavrilo Princip. A member of the Black Hand organization, a Serbian nationalist organization.
That sounds scary as it is.
Ooh,
the Black Hand.
I know. Yeah, but it's one of the oddest. Just how the assassination happened is one of the oddest damn things I've ever read. Mm-hmm. Several people in the Black Hand were going to try to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Right? Mm-hmm. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was also a Habsburg, and we'll connect to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But the car they were driving was a Duesenberg, like you say.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to assassinate him about an hour before he was actually killed. Missed their opportunity. Mm-hmm. They decided to keep going on the route because there's no way somebody else will try to assassinate.
Happen twice.
Won't happen twice.
Lightning doesn't happen twice.
No.
Yeah.
They literally then drove by Gavrilo Princip, who lost his nerve, decided and missed his moment. He was upset with himself. He went down a couple of back streets and sat outside drinking a cup of coffee, annoyed that he didn't take his moment.
Yeah.
At which point, it gets incredibly silly. The driver of Archduke Franz Ferdinand's car, and he had the wife Sophia in there with him, took a wrong turn. And the security detail went with everybody else, didn't take the wrong turn with Franz Ferdinand. Right? They drove down a couple of narrow streets, turned, and drove past Gavrilo Princip at 7 miles an hour with no security, no crowd,
because it was the wrong road. It was the wrong road.
Yeah. Like, Princip had time to, the joke is he had time to finish his coffee, pay the bill, and then at a leisurely jog, run over there. And the Duesenberg had a running board.
Yeah.
So he was able to stand on the running board and lean in, and from about this distance.
Point blank.
Point blank. Oh, my God.
And that assassination led to 15 million deaths.
Yeah.
Because that's how World War I started.
That's how World War I started.
So that has to be the most
It's the most important. And that assassination, it directly leads to World War I, which is the number one cause of World War II. Now you can say
all of the
20th century was born on that day.
Everything they put on Germany, we forced Germany's hand for World War II. There's no.
We did. It's dreadful.
There's no way, they could do what we.
No, the Treaty of Versailles, and we should talk about this.
Japan, so Japan jumped on their side.
Yeah, but we should.
Japan was on our side in World War I.
They were, yeah.
So
we should talk about the Treaty of Versailles, but just to stay with Franz Ferdinand for a bit. So if you look at the start of the war, 1914, there was an Austro-Hungarian Empire, had been around in one shape or another for 1,000 years. 4 years later, it's gone. Mm-hmm. There's czars in Russia at the start of World War I. 4 years later, they're gone. Communism.
Yeah.
Right? There's a Kaiser in Germany. 4 years later, gone. There's a king in Italy. 4 years later, gone. Like, you talk about...
It changed
everything. It's changed by this one moment.
Yeah. Because somebody took a wrong turn. And the irony of it being a convertible and the Kennedy, everything's like kind of interlinks together.
Yeah. Convertible... running board on the car, you can stand on it. Every part of it is incredibly just strange when you think about it.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's one that when I went down the tangent, and I knew this story, and you might know this story. This assassination is what could have been.
Okay.
If this one doesn't happen, what could have been? Okay. All right. So Hitler's right-hand man.
Okay.
When they're crushing it. They're doing very well.
Yeah.
His name was Reinhard Heydrich.
Oh, I've been to where this assassination happened.
All right. So it was in the streets of Prague.
Yeah.
In 1942.
Yeah.
This guy was considered smarter than Hitler.
Yeah.
Better strategist than Hitler.
Yeah.
And considered the guy who's going to take over for Hitler.
And he was an absolute bastard of a human being.
He was a horrible, horrible human being.
Yeah.
Like you look at him and go, I don't know, Clay, how we can get, I don't know if you can see it. He just looks like a dick.
Heydrich. Oh, a terrible, terrible fucking human being.
But this assassination could have changed the world for the good.
Oh, it did. And it did change the world for the good.
Yeah.
So I was...
Because, I mean, if you don't know about the story, he was the guy who was... This is when Germany was kicking the world's ass.
Yeah.
When this happened, it was a major turning point. It took a lot of the wind out of the German sails.
He was a big proponent of the final solution. Mm-hmm. Boy, he hated Jews. Mm-hmm. He founded like the Einsatzgruppen, like these death squads of Nazis. So I was actually in Prague, 2005, with Julie. Mm-hmm. And a friend of hers took us out to the spot where they killed him. And it's in Prague now, but it was a village called Lidice.
Okay.
Back then. And this guy, Thomas, took us out there and showed us exactly where he was got. And he was so proud of this moment. But after
it might have saved the world.
Yeah. But after they killed Heydrich, the Germans came into the town of Lidice. They killed every single man, woman, and child in Lidice. Mm-hmm. They burned the town. Mm-hmm. They bulldozed the town. And then they salted the earth.
Wow.
Yeah. They fucking wiped it off the map. Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the next Fuhrer.
Oh. Yeah. Well, bye.
Yeah. I mean, like in Nazi Germany time, the Fuhrer would have been God.
Yeah.
Heydrich would have been Jesus.
Yeah.
In their world.
Yeah, I don't know if calling Heydrich Jesus.
No, but I mean, you understand the analogy.
I do. Yeah.
In their warped mind.
Yeah.
That's the type of power we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
In this scenario.
Yeah.
But if this doesn't happen,
who the
you
fuck
and I
knows?
could be talking German.
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
And you know what? The Czechs are so proud of it. Like we went out drinking in a little bar Czechs. Right there, and they were very proud of it. And it was a good moment.
Well, they paid for it.
They did,
but they may have saved the world.
Yeah.
The new Quantum Leap came back out.
I know.
They did a remake of Quantum Leap. This is a type of moment that in Quantum Leap.
I loved the original Quantum Leap.
I did too. Sam. Ziggy.
I really want to watch that again. Like I need to look at the new one.
Yeah.
See if it's any good.
I'm gonna have to give it a chance.
Yeah.
So, but that to me was one of the ones that was like when I went down the tangent. This assassination, if it doesn't happen, what if factor?
The what if factor is huge, yeah. Like he was scouting, I think, locations for more places to build more camps, more Lebensraum, living room. Yeah, he was a dreadful fucker. Delighted.
It could be one of the most horrible human beings,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hope he died badly.
I hope it was painful. I hope it was painful and not too quick.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, so we're about halfway through the show. We got to say thank you to some more sponsors. I know you have another assassination you want to talk about, right?
I have one more I want to talk about, yeah.
So I want to say thank you so much to our newest sponsor, City Gates Distillery and St. Augustine Distillery. Appreciate you guys. You're going to see them bannering through great liquors here, made here in St. Augustine.
Made here in town. Like, we have distilleries in town.
Yeah.
Like, if you were by the city gates, walk in there. They're always changing up the stuff.
Award-winning.
Oh, it's so good.
Award-winning distillery.
So good.
All right, 900 Degree Pizza, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. There might be a branding changing with them. The pizza sauce is going to stay the same, but there might be a little change, so there might be a little secret to bring out.
Teasing us here.
Yes.
Right.
Abare, Kresge and Associates, best accountants in town, without a doubt.
These guys are the best. Simple as that. You want a great accountant? Call these guys.
All right.
Beacon
Listening Room, Gypsy Cab. Again, announcement. Gypsy Cab is closed, but they are serving the Gypsy Cab menu at the Beacon during lunchtime. They're just doing a renovation of, they're expanding their kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's long overdue for that.
It is overdue. And this place, Gypsy's a staple. The Beacon is a staple.
I had Gypsy Chicken last week at lunchtime, and it was phenomenal as always.
Yeah. Meehan's Irish Pub. It is, to me, I think it's almost a flagship downtown right now.
Yeah.
It is a great bar, great Guinness, great food, and the people are wonderful. The
amazing
best people working there.
All right. I'm going to tell you this right now. St. Augustine Pirate Museum. I was very skeptical when they came into town. I was like, oh no, here we got a hokey.
Yeah,
it is not. It is so professionally done. Pat Croce, Cindy over there, they do an amazing job. Ask for Captain Mayhem when you go on the tour.
The history in there blew me away. The first time I went in, I went in with the same skepticism, but it's the history of the place, it's the details of the place, and you're right. If Captain Bill Mayhem is there,
ask for him
and get a private tour, because that man's amazing.
All right. Yeah. I know we got a lot of different assassinations we can talk about.
We do. We should do.
You have one more you definitely want to hit.
We should have another, Assassinations Part 2.
Or we just dedicate an entire show to it.
Yeah.
Because there's certain assassinations as I was going through, like Gandhi.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King.
Like Kennedy.
Robert and JFK.
Oh, where would we be?
Yeah.
So
I don't know, and because it's not for political reasons, is John Lennon considered an assassination?
Yes, I think absolutely it is. Yeah,
because he was doing it for name recognition.
Yeah. Do you know that Lennon was 40?
Yeah,
that's the part that always gets me.
Yeah,
he was 40.
Yeah,
and the Beatles had broken up for a decade.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
Like,
what was the name of the hotel?
The Dakota?
Dakota, very good. I'm going to give you props on that.
Woo.
There you go.
Yeah. The Beatles, they always get me, like, George Harrison was 28 when they broke up.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do with the rest of your life when you've been a Beatle?
But he was the first Beatle to have a #1 hit solo.
George was.
He was. You would think it would be Paul.
You would.
And Wings and John. No, he was the first one.
What was the song, do you know?
I can't remember what it was. So, yeah. And we had a Beatle here last week.
We did. We had Ringo.
Ringo was here last week.
You knew Ringo was never going to be the first one with the #1, though.
No. Well, but he's still out there.
He's still out there.
He's what is he? 81, 82?
He's got to be 80. He's got to be. Well, if George was,
and here's the thing, he's ahead of the game too. He's a germaphobe, so he won't shake your hand. You have to touch elbows.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And little guy, like I towered over him.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Richard Starkey.
Yeah,
right?
Richard Starkey.
Who did he replace as the drummer? Do you remember?
The Lost Beatle.
Yeah.
What was the name?
Pete Best.
Pete.
Yeah. Pete Best, yeah. Okay, go on.
Couple boys from Liverpool.
Couple of boys from Liverpool, yeah. Where are we going, John? To the top, man.
All right, so what is, we're going to do one more assassination, then we're going to move into families.
So the assassination for me, one of the ones, and I've been to where it happened in Rome. Again, it's the assassination of Julius Caesar.
Yes. Et tu?
Et tu, Brute, yeah. 44 BCE. He's killed by friends of his. Mm-hmm. He's killed by people that he's connected to by marriage. Yeah. And they did it to protect the Roman Republic.
Yeah.
They thought that by killing Caesar, they wouldn't have it. Rome had been a republic for 500 years. Mm-hmm. And they really thought they were doing the right thing. And they killed him, and all it did was expedite the authoritarian rulers. All it did is expedite a dictator. Yeah. But they thought what they were doing was right, and it changed the course of world history.
And Brutus was so close to him.
He was.
He was so close to him. He waited till he knew Caesar wasn't going to make it anymore. Yeah. And I don't know if Caesar ever actually said the words.
No, I don't. I mean,
but it appears in Shakespeare, so it makes it history now.
Well, my favorite.
And now that we brought it up, it makes it even more real.
It does.
Yeah, it validates
it validates everything.
Now. Yeah, when we're found in like the lost archives, they're gonna be like, "See, I told you, Brutus did it."
Yeah. So my favorite in Shakespeare's play, like Cassius, the other big co-conspirator, he has this moment where he says, "Stoop then and wash," and they all wash their hands in the blood. And he has this moment where he says, "How many ages hence will this act, be heard in states unknown and accents yet unborn?" And it's this idea, you realize that this thing will reverberate down through time.
Yeah.
And even when Shakespeare writes the words, we're doing it today in America. America doesn't exist when Shakespeare writes the words, and we're still looking at it. But it changes the course of Roman history, it changes everything.
And my accent wasn't created yet.
No.
Yours was probably somewhat there.
Somewhat there, probably, yeah.
Your accent was probably more there than my accent. There was no Southern accent.
I know.
When Julius was stabbed.
No, there was definitely no
There was no y'all and fixins. There weren't grits. There weren't chicken and dumplings.
There weren't people going, "You believe that Italian feller?
Stab his ass." So
yeah.
But I mean, I went to Rome last year, and it is just a phenomenal place.
It's mental, isn't it? It's mental.
Phenomenal. I was there for 5 days and it wasn't enough.
No, it's lunacy. Like, you can walk into the Coliseum and you can stand there and go, what the fuck is this? Like,
they have battles here?
Yeah.
You know? And you can kind of see how it could come to be.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's an amazing place.
I was about to tell a story there, then I realized I'm on the air and I'm a public school teacher, so we'll leave it at that.
Okay, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there. Don't get too personal from your side.
No, I won't.
And cheers.
Cheers.
All right, are you ready to move on to powerful families?
I'm ready to move on.
Are we going to transition straight into
we
season?
should translate into? Yeah, we should. So, the Julio Claudia family, which is and funnily enough, they're not actually connected to Julius Caesar at all.
No, Augustus.
So the Julio Claudia begins with Augustus. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Two most important families in Rome. Some of the greatest emperors, some of the craziest fuckers.
And Augustus wasn't even the emperor, was he?
He was the emperor. He
brought him together.
He was never technically an emperor.
Yeah, he never had the title.
Yeah, but he was an emperor.
He was the puppet master.
He was incredible. He was a brilliant, great politician.
Yeah.
Brilliant, and he reigned for a damn long time. Like, he reigned from 27 officially, 27 up until 27 BC up until 14 AD. Yeah, long time. It's 41 years. It's a long time. But I love the lunatics that came after him, and there were some absolute whack jobs. Absolute whack jobs. So Tiberius succeeded him. He was emperor when Christ was crucified.
Yes.
So when people talk about Caesar in the Bible, they're referring to Tiberius.
Yeah. That was the czar. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you know who came? Any of the mental fuckers who came after them?
Well, it was Tiberius's grandson, wasn't it? That was Octavius.
No. Caligula or Nero.
Caligula. Yeah, that's it.
Lunatics.
He was batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy.
Yeah.
He made his horse a senator.
Yeah. And probably did a better job.
Yeah. And fond of the orgies.
Yeah.
Great man for the orgies.
Yeah. Caligula, not the horse. Yeah, not the horse.
Well, we don't know. The horse probably, you know.
Yeah.
I doubt he would have said.
Well, and every time they put it to a vote, that horse voted nay.
Yeah. So Caligula, is great. Little booze or something was what I meant. So Caligula was mad. The Praetorian guards killed him, which, if I may, you know the expression, who guards the guards?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Because Caligula's own guards killed him. He was nuts.
He was so nuts, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he was shagging his sister and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, which wasn't really that uncommon at the time.
Wasn't that uncommon.
Yeah, because you didn't want to, lower your standards. So
That's
the
right.
only person that was at your standards is your family.
That's right. So, he had himself declared a living god. Yeah.
And the bad part is he believed it.
He did believe it. Yeah. These guys, they ruled for a long, long time. They set everything up in Rome. They were the beginners of the empire. The last of them was Nero, who killed himself in 68.
And he was the Christian czar, right?
Yeah, Christian killer.
Christian killer, yeah.
Again, Nero, I love stories about Nero. Nero would go to the Olympic Games or these huge festivals and enter poetry competitions. And he was terrible, but they had to let him win. Yeah. And if he didn't win, he'd have everyone else executed.
All the judges would be killed. Yeah. Hickory dickory dock. I can just see him like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah. The mouse shut up the clock.
He grabbed this. Yeah. All right. No. So right. That was one of the biggest families. All right. So I started going in a lot of different directions, and I decided to stick more to the U.S.
All right.
So because I was going to go with Genghis Khan, which he had the largest empire. And created the largest contiguous empire, like the British Empire spread out all over the place. But what Genghis Khan did is he created a continual empire that took over almost all of Asia, and most of Europe.
Yeah, if you go from Mongolia all the way over to Hungary, is a long fucking way.
Yeah, and we're talking
Thousands of miles.
Thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
Like 2 continents.
Yeah.
All right. So I decided to stick more with powerful families in the U.S.
Okay, who'd you go with?
I went with Rockefeller because I wanted to tie something back to St. Augustine.
Oh, very good. Okay.
So
I know very little about the Rockefeller family.
All right. So Rockefeller, he got his wealth mostly with Standard Oil.
Okay.
And there was 2 brothers. There was John D. and Andrew that kind of created the big wealth.
Okay.
There was the family members prior to that. It was William Andrew, but he went by Andrew Rockefeller. But Rockefeller got most of his money from oil.
Okay.
All right. That's where Henry Flagler sprung out of Rockefeller.
Yeah.
All right. But at one point, we know how rich Elon Musk is.
Yes.
And we know how rich Bill Gates is and Bezos is.
Yeah.
Those guys have, in U.S. wealth, they have like 0.06% of all U.S. wealth.
Right.
So it's an amazing number.
Yeah.
But at Rockefeller's height, when he was the richest man, and the second family I have is Carnegie after it. Carnegie and him would battle back and forth of who the richest person was. But at one point, John D. Rockefeller had almost 20% of U.S. wealth.
20%.
Through Standard Oil and everything else. And that's why Roosevelt had to break up what was going on in that entire empire. And these guys were intertwined.
So could you imagine today a U.S. president breaking up the biggest corporations in the world?
Trying to take on Elon Musk. It would be like taking on Elon Musk, the Koch family, the Walton family.
Yeah. Amazon, Bezos.
Gates. All at one time.
Yeah. And still not getting to that level of wealth.
Not having the value of what the Rockefellers had at that one point. Wow. So, like, as far as, like, how wealthy was he, we already talked about this in earlier episodes. Henry Flagler was so wealthy, he got the state to change the law for one day so he could get a divorce.
Yeah.
All right? So, the irony of it is, when they broke up Standard Oil, he went into all these other companies. He diversified it.
Yeah.
And he made him richer.
Wow. Now, where was he from originally? I literally know nothing about Rockefeller.
Well, he basically came out of New York.
Yeah.
So the family is mostly in New York. And, as far as powerful positions that Rockefellers have held, I believe the most powerful position, it was at one point, Nelson Rockefeller was Ford's vice president.
Right, yeah. Was he governor as well at one stage?
He was governor, I think, of New York, I believe, at one point.
Yeah.
So that family, to me, just because of pure power and wealth.
Yeah.
And, Exxon is still one of the most powerful. It's Standard still, and Chevron, all these companies.
And they all come from Standard Oil.
All of them come from Standard Oil.
Holy mother.
And what do we talk about right now? Gas prices.
Gas prices, yeah.
So this makes this man, to me, the most powerful family that we've had in the United States.
Okay. So I'm going to go slightly different direction. I love these guys because they're just mad and brilliant. I want to talk about the Medici family from Florence in Italy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Medici family, Florence, Italy. Between the 13th and 17th century, they were probably the most powerful family in Europe.
All right. And here's and I'm embarrassed to say this because I'm from DeLand. I've never pronounced it that way.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was Medici.
Oh, Medici. Yeah. I've heard both of it, but the Italians, they go with Medici.
Medici. No, and believe me, my enunciation and being a dyslexic guy, I appreciate you correcting me.
So they had 3 popes in the family.
Mm-hmm.
3. Not one.
No, not one.
Fucking 2. 3.
Yeah.
3 popes. They had guys that weren't popes that had more power. They had Lorenzo the Magnificent who ruled Florence. Cosmo the Great. They had the biggest bank in Europe for 4 centuries.
4 centuries.
4 centuries. They lent money to everybody to do everything.
If you wanted to win a war, you had to be friends with the Medici.
The Medicis, yeah. And they were also really such a huge influence in the Renaissance. They were patrons of Michelangelo. They were patrons of Raphael.
Mick. I was corrected in Roma.
Oh, Michelangelo.
I was corrected there.
Yeah.
Believe me, I get corrected a lot on my enunciation.
But they were patrons of Botticelli and Brunelleschi. Like, these guys...
Botticelli. So amazing.
Yeah. They were the guys that paid
amazing.
Botticelli. Like,
he would commission him to...
Yeah. They were the guys that... It was a Medici Pope who paid... Michelangelo to go do the Sistine Chapel.
Don't they have this family is the family that is the one who has all the art in the what's the famous gallery in Florence?
Uffizi.
Yeah,
Uffizi Gallery.
Isn't most of that stuff from their family?
Most of it is from their family.
Have you been there?
I have been there.
Oh, there's no place on earth like it when it comes to art.
Yeah, pound for pound, square inch per square inch. That's the greatest art gallery in the world.
I can tell you right now, like you can stay in a room for hours.
Yeah. The Botticelli room.
Botticelli room.
Just
Botticelli room. I'm telling you right now, I could have stayed in the Botticelli room.
Yeah, forever.
Like, forever.
Yeah.
And the person I was with really appreciated it, and it was just all of us were just like jaw open. But this family saved all that art too.
Yep. All of that art. It's just, they're just extraordinary. Like you walk around Florence and so many of the museums, so many of the churches, so many of the cathedrals, they're all built by this one family. It's an extraordinary dynasty and an extraordinary connection. And they did things like there's games in Florence. They play it's like a rugby / violent / murder ball game every year in Florence. Mm-hmm. And the town of Florence is divided into 4 sections. And it goes back to some war that some Medici won in like the 1480s. And they have this thing. And it is, if you've never seen, I can't think of the damn name of the thing, but you can only play for your section of Florence if you're born there.
Yeah.
And it is as close to murder ball, kill whoever has the ball as you've ever seen. And it's only played in Florence.
It's kill the man with the ball.
It is. And there used to be other names for it, but we won't go into that. Yeah. And again, it's connected to this family.
Well, and I mean, even the origin, and we might need to talk about that at some point. Origins of sports.
Yeah, we do need to talk about that.
Because even your game, football or soccer, started by cutting off the head of the king, the town splitting up and kicking the head out of town.
Well, I mean, proper order when you think about it.
So I mean, there are certain origins that are out there that. No, we need to have that. We need to have that as a topic at some point.
I like that.
I love the fact that that's a family, and I like I said, I always called it Medici. I've always pronounced it wrong, so which is not unusual for me.
I don't think it's unusual. I think it's. I always wonder about if you're in France, it's Paris. If you're in Rome, it's Roma. We call it Rome and Paris, but we'd be surprised if somebody from another country called our cities the right way.
Circling back to the Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
What was the statement of accents that have not...
Of accents unborn, or states unborn and accents yet unknown. Yeah.
Accents yet unknown. Yeah. I love that statement.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
I love that statement. There's accents yet unknown.
Yeah.
So...
All right, who you got? What family?
All right, so I'm going to go with Andrew Carnegie. And the reason I go with Carnegie is, and it's not Carnegie.
It's Carnegie.
It's Carnegie.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew Carnegie, he actually did pass John D. Rockefeller at one point, and then Rockefeller passed him again. But when Carnegie sold his company, the Carnegie Steel, for $320 million in like 1901 or something like that.
In 1901.
It made him the richest man in the world at that time. John D. Rockefeller then kind of just said, nah, hold my beer.
Yeah.
He said, hold my beer and watch this. All right. But Carnegie, the beauty of Carnegie and how powerful he was is he's the person who really started saying we should be appreciative of who we are and give shit back. Wow. He gave away 90% of his wealth.
Seriously?
Yeah. He gave away 90% of his wealth. He gave away, at the end of his life, almost equivalent to what would be about $5.5 billion.
Wow.
So Carnegie Hall, all these museums, all this stuff, He just wrote checks for it.
And he did all that stuff for the betterment of everybody else.
He was, for not a better word, he created philanthropy.
Philanthropy. Wow.
So that makes him, to me, one of the most powerful families in the world, because the rich used to just be rich and screw the poor. Carnegie said, no, we're thankful for who we are and what we have, and we got to give back.
Am I correct? Was he Scottish originally? Is the family Scottish?
Yeah, he was Scottish. He was actually born in Scotland.
Holy moly. And is it Pittsburgh? Is that where he?
It was Allegheny.
Allegheny, yeah.
Allegheny, but he has a huge influence in New York City, Allegheny, Pittsburgh, that whole area, the steel industry.
Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, that university. And he's definitely there's museums there. He's got some, I remember being at a botanical garden there in Carnegie in Pittsburgh. Again, blew my frickin' mind.
He lived to be 83 years old. He was born in 1835 and died in 1919. Just a phenomenal individual.
But basically invented philanthropy.
Well, he made it cool.
He made it cool.
And he challenged his other friends that were with him. He challenged the Rockefellers. He challenged the Fords of the world. He challenged the Flaglers.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, hey, hold my beer.
This is what we should do.
What you got? Here's what we're doing.
Oh, I love that.
We can live a very happy life and not have this.
Yeah.
And to me, he's
the man.
He is the man who invented philanthropy. Wow. All right, you got one more for us?
Yeah, I do. And this one kind of, there's a connection here that kind of surprised me. And I think this is something we should revisit, the powerful families thing.
Yeah.
So just briefly, the Walton family, which we all know as Walmart.
Yeah,
right?
Sam and the crew.
And Sam's Club and all that stuff, right? They're worth $247 billion today.
Yes.
$247 billion.
Yeah.
Newport, Arkansas in 1945, the first store. But what I found when I was looking them up...
Wasn't it in Bentonville?
It was in Bentonville. That's right. Bentonville is where Walmart, yeah. But there's somebody in the family is married to Stan Kroenke.
Okay.
Who is... And the Kroenke, and I may be saying this, you talk about pronunciation, Krenke, the sports group. Okay. They own franchises in the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, and Major League Soccer. Okay. So, the Walton family is the richest family in America. Mm-hmm. And they're going to get richer because one of the daughters is married in the Kroenke family sports enterprise.
They're just going to intertwine.
And they own franchises in the four biggest, sports here in America.
Yeah.
And again, from Arkansas.
Yeah, Bentonville. Yeah, now Bentonville is in a very, very strange city.
I've never been, so I don't know.
Bentonville is a city where they have a major airport there. And it's 100% because of Walmart.
Gosh, yeah, okay.
The Walton family, Sam said, we're not moving from here. We started from here. We're not moving from here. And he basically created this city. And it literally has one of the biggest airports in the Midwest.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
they make all their vendors come to them to help the economy of Bentonville.
Wow. I like that, actually.
So a lot of businesses who have major doings with Walmart have set up camp in Bentonville.
In Bentonville.
Yeah.
Can you fly direct from Jacksonville to Bentonville?
I believe you can.
Seriously?
I believe you can.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you this, and the other thing Walmart has is because they got beat up on, we're running people out of business. If you don't buy from us, Walmart won't let you be one of their vendors if they're more than 40% of your business.
Really?
You have to have business in other locations. So if they decide not to buy from you, which they do periodically, if they decide not to buy from you, they don't put you out of business.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But Sam was like, I don't want to put anyone out of business. And a lot of people beat up on Walmart all the time.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, it's a quality company and a quality family, and they give back a lot.
That's fascinating. And You imagine what they've done for the economy in Arkansas and in Bentonville. Like, see, I didn't know that at all.
The entire city is, there because of Walmart.
Okay, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm now determined to go to Bentonville. That's
yeah. You know what? That's the end of our show. That's how quick our show went.
Wow. Okay.
That's how quick our show went.
I would like to revisit all of these things again.
Yeah. We got so many more assassinations and powerful families. I mean, I got
tons.
Just I would like to revisit Genghis Khan again.
I want to talk about how much DNA he spread around the world as well.
So crazy. All right, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. Thank you guys for listening. I'm looking at those people doing all those comments. Really appreciate you guys out there. Hit that share button. There's a bell button up there somewhere for the alerts. Hit that bell button.
Tell all your friends. Look us up on YouTube. Look us up on the 904 Now app. Let's spread the word, people.
All right, this is Bollox, Talks and Tangents. We'll be back next week.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.